Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be updating my reading journal. I do have a video already up on my channel of the initial setup of this journal, so I will link that in the cards in case you want to check it out. The first thing I'm going to do for this batch of updates is fill in the last two book reviews for the last two books I read in the month of January. I make these little book cover and star rating stickers for myself. And the first book I'm writing about here is Death from High Places by Benedict Brown. This was a cozy mystery novella and I really enjoyed it. I'm going to give it 4.5 stars, as you'll see here in a minute. Right now I'm just pulling out a bunch of different mild liner highlighters to try and figure out which one matches the cover best, because I do like to match the colors as well as I can. And before I go on about this book, I do want to say that it's available as a free download from the author's website. So if you enjoy cozy mysteries or you want to try them out, I highly recommend checking this one out. It is 1.5 in a series, so it's not the first in the series, but you can definitely read this as a standalone. There's no spoilers, and I think you'll really enjoy it, along with the fact that it gives you a taste for Benedict Brown's writing style, so you'll know if you want to read more from him in the future. But basically now I'm just writing about how much I enjoyed the book. It was a really quick read, and this one involves a 16-year-old boy named Christopher who investigates with his grandpa, and I just really like that family vibe that goes on. Also in this book you learn more about Christopher's older brother Albert, so it's really tying in the family connections. I mentioned before with this series that the humor is my favorite part. Benedict Brown is so funny and witty. I actually laugh out loud sometimes while I'm reading his books, which is very, very rare for me. Okay, the second book I'm reviewing is Garden of the Midnights by Hannah Linder, and unfortunately this book was a huge disappointment for me. I am going to give it 2 stars, as you see in a moment. I have heard so much about this book and this author, and it was really high up on my list of books that I wanted to read, but so much of it just did not work for me. I know this is labeled as a gothic Regency romance, and I have enjoyed gothic novels in the past. In fact, Jane Eyre is one of my all-time favorite books, and that's probably the most popular gothic novel, or maybe Wuthering Heights. But this book just was so dark in my opinion, and at some points it was really gory and gruesome as well, which I did not enjoy, and I did not think that added to the story at all. And I don't want to give spoilers, but the romance in this book was done in a very odd way. I saw what the author was trying to do, but the way it came about just really kind of rubbed me the wrong way. And I actually read in a review that Hannah Linder uses a certain trope over and over in her books that was in this book. So yeah, I don't know if I'll be continuing to read her books. I want to though, because they're so popular, and maybe it was just like, maybe I picked the wrong book to start with. So if you have any recommendations for Hannah Linder books, please comment down below which one you think would be better for me to work with or start with. I just don't want something this dark again, basically. Also, I listened to the audiobook for this book and I did not like the narrator at all. I did not think her tone worked, so maybe that's why I didn't enjoy the book very much either. Moving over to the next page, this is going to be my January reading wrap-up page. I've never done one of these before, and I think I'm going to end up switching it in the future, but this was just like my first time trying it out. And the first thing I did was take a Tombow brush pen and just letter in January, and here I'm just outlining the letters. I really like how that looks. I had planned to match this to the front page of my January section in this journal, but I grabbed the wrong Tombow, and yeah, I didn't want to have to white it out. It was kind of like a whole fiasco, so. And now I'm just writing in reading wrap up off to the side, and then I'm going to use that same Tombow to make some lines to write down a few little things I wanted to track from the month, including the number of books I read, the number of pages I read, the average rating for the books I read, and the average length of the books. I've never tracked any of this before, but I think it was really interesting to look back and see what I did during the month of January. I'm honestly really impressed that I read 12 books. It didn't feel like that many when I was reading them. Actually, I think I listened to 3 audiobooks, so I read 9 and listened to 3, but yeah, overall it was a really good reading month. As you can see, my average rating was 4.29, which is really high for me, actually. Now I'm taking this little ruler and I'm drawing a tiny graph. I wanted to get a little bit more creative with elements on this page. Some of it worked out, some of it did not, as you'll see in a bit here. But this graph is going to be my genre tracker, so I'm just going to label the axes with the number of books and then also the genre. And this month I think I read only historical fiction, mystery, nonfiction, YA, and fantasy, I believe. And as it turned out, I read 2 each of YA, nonfiction, and fantasy, 3 mysteries, or was it 4 mysteries? I think it was 3. But I read mostly historical fiction, which doesn't really surprise me because I love history, and yeah, that's just what I was really into this month. I should also point out that some of the books double up on categories. So for example, I read this book called The Winter King by Christine Cohen, and that fell under both YA and fantasy. And by the way, I did really like that book. I gave it 4 stars. So if you have that on your TBR or you've heard about it, then I do recommend it. Now off to the side, I'm just making a little space for me to mark my highest rated books of the month, my top 3 reads, if you will. I think it'll be fun to look back at the end of the year and see what my top books were for each month and how my reading taste changed. So in January, my top book was The Sisters of Seaview by Julie Clausen. My second highest rated was Counted with the Stars by Connie Lynn Cosette, and honestly, the top 2 are probably interchangeable. They were very close as far as ratings went, in my opinion. And my third favorite was Murder at the Spring Ball, the first Benedict Brown novel that I read. Now this is where things start to go a little bit downhill. So I had this great idea to try and draw a pie chart in this journal using a washi roll as a circle maker, and it failed miserably. I created this, which is just not okay. It could not stay in my planner. So I whited it out, and then I printed off my Storygraph results for the month because I did recently start using that app. And it's pretty fun. I like how many different charts and graphs are on there, and I also like how you can do your goals on that app. So I just printed that on sticker paper and then cut out graphs for the format charts and also the fiction versus nonfiction charts, and use those to fill up the space at the bottom. Back at the top, I'm making a little box to mark the new authors that I read this month. I actually read 5 new authors, which I felt like was a lot personally. So those were Christine Cohen, Connie Lynn Cosette, Benedict Brown, Emily Thomas, and Hannah Linder for January. Now moving to the next section, I'm going to start making my February monthly cover page, if you will, and also my TBR page. I'm going to start off by doing some lettering using this really pretty blush pink kind of colored Tombow brush pen. I really like this shade of pink. It's probably my favorite shade of pink, and I think it's perfect for this month. And then I'm using the finer tip just to write in 2025 underneath. I also pulled out a bunch of washies from my very extensive washi tape collection to decorate with, and I ended up picking this kind of love potion type washi, I guess. It's really cute, and I wanted to use it because it matched the pen color almost perfectly. And then on the right, I'm starting my February TBR chart. So I used another mild liner to write in Feb TBR. And then I'm going to make a chart beneath it, and it's very simple. I just write down the title, author, and genre of the book. And this is by no means a solid TBR. And that letter sticker you see at the top there, I did print some deco off of Canva to use in my spreads, so that's where all the deco you're going to see is from. And again, I just print this all on sticker paper, and I either cut it out with a silhouette portrait or I just cut it out with scissors, depending on how I'm feeling and if I want to go through the trouble of using the silhouette. But as I was saying about my TBR, it's not a hard and fast TBR. It's kind of just like a list of ideas for books I can read during the month. If I don't know what I want to read, I can just look at this page. Although I will say this month I have a lot more stuff that I kind of need to get to because I want to get through the rest of my winter books before winter is over. And then I have a couple of buddy reads I'm doing this month as well. So this is actually more of a hard and fast TBR than would normally be in my journal. So the first book I wrote down is The Burning of Rosemont Abbey. I talked about that in a recent haul video, and I'm looking forward to reading it. Then we have The Mystery of the Clockwork Sparrow. I'm buddy reading that with Whitney from Whitney's Reading Journey. I'm also buddy reading the next book, The Red Monarch, with a friend of mine, Beth. And then we have The Innkeeper of Ivy Hill from Julie Clausen. I really want to read a lot more of her books and to finish the Ivy Hill series. I also have The Unquenchable Flame by Michael Reeves. That will hopefully be my theology read for this month. Dead in Gondola and The Frozen River are wintry books that I want to get through. Oh, and also Once Upon a Wardrobe. All 3 of those, I believe, have a winter setting. So yeah, I want to read them now before it gets warm and spring comes around and all that. I have The Scarlet Letter as my potential classic pick for the month because I am doing the 12 Classics in 12 Months challenge from Holly's Book Musings on Instagram. I will link all these channels and Instagram pages down below, by the way. And I also want to try and get to the Screw Tape Letters this month as well, but we'll see what happens. I did have quite a bit of free space at the end of this chart, so I took some of that deco that I printed off Canva and stuck it down. I think it's so cute, and that cake looks delicious, I have to say. I'm adding a little heart banner and also a little XOXO. And then I'm going to move on to the next section, which is going to be at the back of the journal. And here I decided I wanted to put in a series tracker. I got this idea from, I believe it was Katie's channel. I'm pretty sure I saw it on Katie's channel. So I really liked it. I wanted to put it in my own journal. Right here, I'm just taking some different ephemera that I've collected over the years and trying to arrange it to my liking. I am so picky about this, y'all. I don't know why I am still so picky, because I've been journaling like this and junk journaling and using ephemera for a long time, but it takes me forever to figure out how I want stuff placed. Next, I'm using another Tombow to write in series tracker, and I'm just outlining that with my Sharpie S gel. And all the series you'll see me putting down are series I'm currently either in the middle of or have just started, so this is not the series I've completed at all. The first one I put down was On Devonshire Shores by Julie Clausen. This is the series that the Sisters of Seaview is from. Next, I put down the Lord Edgington Investigate series, and I did misspell Edgington, yes, I saw that, but I didn't want to white it out, so I just left it. This series actually has 15 installments, so I needed a bunch of my little squares. Next is the Out from Egypt series by Connie Lynn Cassette. I've only read the first book in this series, but it's only a 3-book series, so should not be too hard to catch up on that. Then we have the Tales from Ivy Hill series, also by Julie Clausen, and I just realized I didn't even write down the author next to that title for some reason. But I did decide to pull out some washi tapes from my collection, just some neutral kind of grid ones to add some interest to the page. Over on the right, I'm putting in the Bronte Sisters Mysteries series, and below that is the Sugar Creek Amish Mysteries. That series actually has 30 installments, but I did not want to draw 30 boxes, so I capped it at 8. Then we have Secrets of the Blue Hill Library series, and now I'm just going back and coloring in boxes for the series, or the books in the series that I've read so far. Again, not very many, but hey, I'm starting somewhere, right? And I do still have room on the right-hand page to add a couple more series if I want to. Now I'm adding some deco. I'm not sure where these stickers are from because they were gifted to me, but they're so cute, and I think the aesthetic fits this page really well. And the last page I want to add to my journal in this video is going to be a books per month tracker graph. Very simple, nothing super fancy, but I'm starting off by decorating the top and bottom of the page with some bookish washi tapes. These are so cute, but unfortunately I don't know where they're from because I was gifted these as well. I think they came together though as a set because the doodles are very similar looking and the colors kind of match as well. The bottom one is like a floating bookshelf type washi, and then the top one is like a cozy bookish day at home theme. You have some slippers and like a nice cozy chair and books and stuff like that, so they're both really cute. Now here I'm just starting to draw my graph, and this is really simple. On the y-axis I'm just putting the number of books, and then the x-axis has my month names. I hope I called the axes by the right names. It's been a long time since I had to draw a graph, y'all. Okay, honestly, I've been out of school for a long time. Above the graph, I use another Tombow marker to letter in books per month, not for month. What am I talking about? I really like that brown kind of caramel color. I think it's super pretty. And yeah, here I go, just writing in the numbers and the month names. Once that is done, I'm taking another mild liner and just writing in or marking in 12 books for January with a mild liner. The graph goes up to 23, and I don't think I'll ever hit 23. I think the most books I've ever read in a month was 18. I seriously doubt I could get to 23 unless I start like binge reading Curious George books, which I don't think is going to happen. And last but not least, to update my journal, I wanted to put in some more stickers that I got recently. These are all so cute, and I was kind of struggling to figure out where I wanted to put that one, but I eventually decided to put it on the right hand of the page over here. I do hope to have the inside covers of my journal all stickered up by the time I finish up this journal. And then I'm going to do a quick flip through of my journal just so y'all can see how it's looking. Again, this is my first year ever doing a physical reading journal, so it's kind of a test run. I don't know if I'm going to keep up with everything in here. I've already made some changes, as I mentioned earlier, but I'm just having a ton of fun, and I'm already enjoying looking back at everything I've done so far. and I love getting time to play with my markers and washi and stickers and stuff. I really love all journal and planner supplies, so this is a really fun creative outlet for me in general. The back of the journal is super fun for me too because I have so many different pages back there that I get to go to regularly. I have all my reading challenges back here and all my different graphs and charts where I'm keeping track of stuff, including my subscriber milestones right there. Here's my reading bucket list, which I want to check some more stuff off of as soon as I can. More book lists and stuff like that. I haven't touched my statistics page or the faves page. I might do that at the end of the year if I can hold out that long. We'll see. But yeah, that is it for this video. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye guys!